Hey, guys, my name is Paula's son, but you can call me the Change Navigator. I mean, that's why you clicked on the podcast, because of the name, right? All right, cool. I want to begin by saying welcome to my new listeners and welcome back to the Faithful Navigators. We are here in season three, and if you have been listening to season three, you know that season three is all about the pivot. And I actually wrote an ebook about it. It's called Pivot 8 Keys to Reinventing Your Now. That book is available on Amazon Kindle. So while you're listening to the podcast, just slide on over to Amazon Kindle and type in my name, Paula Sun, and the ebook should pop right up. It's only $5.99, okay? So I promise you it has some good information in there, and there are some things that will help you to successfully pivot. Now, welcome to the podcast, and I want to talk about something that caught my attention. A friend of mine sent me a meme, and it says, "Girls' bodies aren't responsible for boys' thoughts." And I thought that was so powerful, and it was in regard to a status that I read on Facebook, and I was telling her about it. So she sent me that meme yesterday, and I was like, man, this thing has caused me to look at some things a different way. All right, so I saw something on Facebook. Again, it grabbed my attention, and I want to talk about it. I want to express my opinion about it. As I was scrolling through Facebook last week, I want to say probably Thursday or Friday, I read a post shared by a friend of mine. Well, I call him my brother nephew, Algernon Cooper. He shared a post from Bryce Brewer. Now, I don't know who Bryce Brewer is, but what he wrote was profound. It's lengthy, but please listen as I share it with you so you all can hear what Bryce had to say in the post. So his post reads like this. It starts out with, "So I need to issue an apology. Parentheses, I am using some humor here too, close parentheses. I have been a youth pastor on and off for over 20 years, and I have issued the ridiculous ultimatum to my female students at summer camp, quotation marks, one piece swimsuits only, quote, close quotation marks. First of all, I am sorry. Number one, I am sorry that I didn't teach boys to control themselves. Number two, I am sorry I laid the weight of purity on a girl's swimsuit while she was swimming and not on the boy's responsibility not to be gross. Number three, I am sorry to all the girls that frantically searched for an appropriate one piece so that some male youth pastor could deem them appropriate. Story here. I accompanied my fiance and her daughter as we desperately looked for a cute one piece that would be appropriate for camp. It was hard and it sucked. Number four, I am sorry that we have deemed a young woman's body as something that, quotation marks, needs to be covered, close quotation marks, and let young men's bodies be okay to be seen. Number five, I'm sorry I ever let this be an item of discussion, usually led by men at any youth leader meeting. This must have been awful for my female leaders and students to be a part of. I am still a fan of the quotation marks no produce rule, close quotation marks. No buns, bananas, or breasts need to be seen. But why are stomachs overtly sexual? Why is a little cleavage sinful? Why are women meant to feel they are responsible for men's actual sin of lust? So, I am sorry to all students, especially females, that we subjugated to our rules. I am sorry to my female students as they desperately tried to search for a swimsuit in the days leading up to camp. I am sorry if you felt sexualized by us telling you to cover up. I am sorry I didn't teach the boys to be men and laid that responsibility on the young women. Female students, wear a swimsuit that lets you have fun. Male students, stop being disgusting and control yourself. Youth pastors, male especially, stop being chauvinists and making female students feel bad for having breasts. Christians, live like Jesus. So that was his entire post. He said so much in that post, and I read it and I read it again. And this was my initial response. I typed this response on the status that was shared, and I said, this is a really good and holistic view on it all. I applaud him for coming to this realization. It was actually quite refreshing. Now, after reading it, I honestly had to revisit some things, revisit some thoughts, revisit some teachings, and pivot, turn, or reposition. And let me tell you how contradictory and hypocritical I have been. All right? After reading that, I realized how hypocritical I've been. Yes, you are going to get all of this truth about me. I'm talking about myself, so keep listening. Last summer, or last year during the pandemic, when schools shut down and our kids were doing things virtually, I had a conversation with my daughter. She liked to sit outside on the patio and do her schoolwork because everything was virtual and she needed a change in scenery. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. But she also liked to wear shorts. Shorts that I consider that should be worn only in the house. Those little booty shorts that our teenagers like to wear, right? Now, my daughter is very well endowed, I must admit, and I know males, boys, and men. I know how they are. So I had the conversation with her, and I said, hey, if you're going to sit outside, don't wear those shorts. While you are just wearing them because they are comfortable for you, men will see you and have other thoughts. They will think you are sending the wrong message because that's just how their minds operate. Their minds are very sexual. They are visual creatures and they are sexual beings. I thought that I was teaching her something, right? Which I still do believe. My stance is correct. I still do believe that men are visual creatures. I do believe that the way women dressed, men have certain thoughts about how women dressed. However, she asked me this just as respectful as she could be, but she said, why do I have to change what I wear based on what they think? Why can't I just wear what I want to wear and not be, and she said this word, she said, and not be responsible for how they think. Now, let me say this. I'm a mix between traditional and liberal teaching as it relates to being a mother. So here I was thinking in my head. I was thinking this in my head, but I didn't say it out loud. But I was thinking, you know what? You make a valid point. But here's what came out of my mouth. Here's what I actually said. I said, I've seen how men act. I've seen how they don't have control. I'm trying to protect you from predators and from people who perceive how you are dressed and they take it the wrong way. Yes, even sitting on your patio, even what's considered your personal space, if people walk by and see you, they will think certain things. That's where my mind is. I'm in protective mode. I am mother goose, mother, whatever you want to call me. I'm mother protector of my daughter, right? So that's the statement that I gave her. She stayed true to her conviction. She still said, I don't feel I should be responsible for how they think. I don't feel I should change the way I dress because of how they think. My traditional self, not my liberal self didn't even address her concerns. She was having a conversation with traditional mama. So my traditional self said, well, this is a man's world and it is controlled by how they think and how they view the world. And there I was. I was sitting there thinking that I was teaching her something. I was thinking I was teaching her how to be responsible and how to carry herself when in actuality, she taught me something. She taught me that she was a free thinker. She taught me that she dressed based on how she felt, not based on how someone else viewed her. And the beauty in all of that is that she adhered to my traditional thinking And she was very respectful in our discourse. She was very respectful in our exchanging of our thoughts. Now, after reading the aforementioned status on Facebook, I was reminded that I too placed on my daughter the responsibility of a man's thoughts. That's the first thing I thought after reading that status. I placed on my daughter the responsibility of a man's thoughts. Wow. It kind of gut punched me. It kind of hit me like, this is the same thing you did to your daughter. I remember when I was offended because someone placed on me the responsibility of a man's thoughts. As a grown woman, I had this same thing happen to me in church in my 30s. Someone said something to me about something I wore to church. And here I was thinking, why not teach the men some self-control? Why be upset with women because they have shapes and curves? Why automatically think that women are trying to draw attention to themselves based on how they dress? Why do we chastise women for their God-given curves, but no one addresses the men about their devilish lusts? Why do we do this to women? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's go back. We teach our girls to be responsible at a very young age. We teach our daughters how to carry themselves. We teach the girls, young ladies are to be seen and not heard. We teach the girls you can't just wear anything. You have to leave something for the imagination. I still agree with this, but there has to be balance. I've never had a son, so I'd like to know, what are the boys being taught? Like the post said, they can walk around with their chest out. They can walk around shirtless. And girls have to wear a one piece and probably cover up if they are not in the pool. The boys can wear whatever they want to wear. And they are not told, hey, watch what you wear. You might turn a little girl on. Why? Because they know that girls are being taught to be responsible. Girls are being taught to be respectful. I don't want to jump on my soapbox because this goes way deeper than bathing suits and swimwear. I will not jump on my soapbox or go down a rabbit hole because this monologue is simply to shed some light as to how I feel. When do we teach men how to be husbands? We teach girls at an early age. We teach them how to clean. We teach them how to cook. We teach them how to take care of their younger siblings. We teach them how to be able to run their homes. We teach them based on what we think a man wants. We teach them and place an unspoken responsibility on them. The unspoken responsibility is simply, if you do this, you will get a husband and have children and have a great family. Almost like a merit system. If you do this, this will be your reward. But do we teach men how to be husbands? Many guys grow up with the responsibility of taking out the trash and mowing the lawn. Maybe cleaning up their room. But whatever they don't feel like doing gets done by his mother or his sisters, because boys will be boys. Now, I'm speaking from my generation and probably those that are older than me. But my question is, mothers, are you preparing your sons to be husbands? Fathers, are you preparing your sons to be husbands? Or is the responsibility on the woman to perform and hope she gets chosen? Listen, I think we should move away from the cliche, boys will be boys, because I'm seeing men who are still being boys. And to me, that same cliche keeps men from becoming men. It keeps boys from becoming men. I'm seeing men who lack responsibility, and control of their lusts. I wholeheartedly appreciate the apology given by that youth pastor. Now, it may take a generation or 20 years for us to see a difference in how we approach teaching our young people. But if we continue to have the dialogue, if we continue to have these tough conversations, if we continue to try and get an understanding, if we continue to work towards solutions to eliminate the problem, then and only then will we see changes much sooner than later. Because girls' bodies aren't responsible for boys' thoughts. Thank you, Shuli G, for sharing that graphic with me because that graphic really caused me to sit and reflect, not just on society, but I had the opportunity to reflect on myself and reflect on the responsibility that I placed on my daughters. Yes, I placed the responsibility on them that they should be responsible for boys' thoughts based on what they wear. And it's just not fair. It's not fair. I was wrong. I was hypocritical. I was very hypocritical. But my eyes are open now. My understanding is open now. Again, I'm a cross between traditional and liberal. So it all has to come together. As always, guys, the focus of this podcast is to help you navigate, survive, and thrive life's changes. Because remember, life is simpler with navigation. I'll end this segment with a phrase from my girl Pookie P. Remember, people, when you change your thinking, your behavior will reflect it. I want you guys to feel free to give me your feedback because I'd love to know how you feel about this topic. This topic is near and dear to my heart because I have girls. But I'd love to know how you feel about the topic and how you feel about the podcast in general. Check out my website for blogs and upcoming events at www.thechangenavigator.info. You can email me at thechangenavigator@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at the_change_navigator. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Change Navigator, and you will see videos for the podcast. Or you can like my Facebook page, The Change Navigator. Let's stay connected, guys. And until next time, keep going, navigators. You've got this.